Okay, hello everybody. Good afternoon. How are you? This is Education Nation, and we have gone live. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about Education Nation. We focus on why literacy is important, especially for our young people. We talk about preschoolers, elementary school, high school, and college, because we know that research says the prefrontal cortex of our brain, where our memory, our emotions are, where our short-term memories are, it's not fully developed. We don't make rash decisions well until we are between 25 and 30. So it's really important for us to focus on young people, even young adults, to help uh, us have a better world, because it's going down the drain, y'all. I'm telling you. Okay, so let's start with the female solution and why we're here.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Peace and love. I'm Michelle Renee, host of Education Nation, live on the Female Solution Global Network every second and fourth Sunday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The intention of Education Nation is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis and to offer information to combat the problem. The goal is to awaken an army of reading coaches and mentors. You will experience guests who are doing their part in the community to ensure youth in their circles are reading and thinking critically. I look forward to serving you in this capacity. Literacy is freedom, and Education Nation will offer information and strategies to help ensure our young people stay free. All right. So we have with us today on Education Nation daughter, my eldest daughter, Eliyannah Amirah Israel. And we have conversations about AI and AI literacy all the time. So I decided to do an episode on AI literacy. Eliyannah Amirah Israel is an endlessly curious Chicagoan whose writer, director superpowers are fueled by three essential ingredients: observation, literature, and Linda Goodwin, which is
Look,
my
good men. Good, no, good men.
and Linda Goodman. Oh, sorry. A once quiet child with wide eyes and an appetite for stories, Eliana devoured books. She literally did, and one of which was Goodman's Sun Signs. That encounter with character driven astrology sparked a lifelong fascination with humanity and the stories that shape it. Since then, Eliana has grown to be a people first storyteller focused on individuals inside worlds bigger than themselves, and is doing this work across a range of dramatic genres. Eliana has directed and produced independent projects while working for major studios such as Sony, Fox, NBC, HBO, Lionsgate, ABC, Disney, and Warner Brothers. Some of her most rewarding work has been assisting directors Sanaya Hamri, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong,
Senna.
on Sinner. Oh, I remember her. Ooh, let me not talk about it. On Empire. And Julie uh, Tremor, don't laugh, on The Glorious. Her
Tamor. She's
directing
lovely. Julie Tamor. The
Tamor
lovely Julie
on The
Tamor.
Glorious. You all know I'm reading, right? Her directing credits include The Life I Carry, The Weight of Sadness, We Love Us Cause Y'all Won't. We Love Us Cause Y'all Won't. Tuesdays at 4, and Lies and Lipstick. She created the viral web series Hermione Granger and the Quarter Life Crises, leading a team of 5 writers and directing all 12 episodes. In 2023, she directed the short film adaptation of the independent romance novel Love Me Forever. Most recently, her feature film script the caterpillar and the butterfly was accepted at the Chicago International Film Festival's 2024 Development Lab, going to win the culminating pitch competition. The script is also a second round finalist in the 2025 Sundance Development Lab and the drama feature category at the 2025 Austin Film Festival script competition. This is my baby girl, my oldest baby girl, Eliyannah Amirah Israel. Welcome to
Yay!
Education Nation.
I didn't realize the bio was so long.
It's kind
Sorry.
of long, but I wanted to read it
I
all,
have to I didn't realize it was that long. Okay, I need to a shorter version for stuff that's gonna be read on the screen.
but it's okay. I read it anyway.
It's okay. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think you're important. You're
Thank you.
important to me and to the world.
You is important. Yes.
You,
You
what is
is
that?
smart. You
You,
is
yeah,
beautiful.
and you is
You is
important.
important.
You is all of that. Okay, so we're gonna talk about um, AI literacy. Now,
Mhm.
we understand that technology and AI is not going anywhere, but we need to be literate in AI. We need to make sure our children are literate in AI and that all classrooms have a large chunk of time where there is no technology and no AI. We got to get our children back to the old way of learning with pencil, paper, and actual books. We got to
Mhm.
get back to that. We have given
Yeah.
up too much of our children's learning over to various aspects of technology, and it has not done them well as far
Mhm.
as their brain development. So we got to get back to that. So I know that AI is used for a couple of reasons, and it is important that we are literate in AI. For one, so that we can make better choices as far as the tools that we use and how to use those tools, so that we can learn how to be confident in being wrong. We know how to check those tools because AI is not always correct. I have seen it where some of my college freshman students do a research paper and they use AI. I can always tell. And
Mhm.
if everybody does not know, AI actually makes up citations. That's not good. And if they don't
Mhm.
know how to cite sources, why to cite sources, the reasons, and what they should look like, and where to get sources from that are appropriate for a college classroom, then they're going to miss that. When AI gives them something that's incorrect, they won't even know.
Yeah.
However, we know as adults that certain AI tools does help us with our work, and it does help us create faster. And being AI literate allows us to make those decisions, whether we are giving our work, our thinking, our brains to AI, or using it as a tool. And there is a protection aspect. We need to understand how to protect our data, how to protect us digitally, because
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
pertaining to AI is not private. What do you have to add to that?
Uh, what do I the I have so many thoughts that I in general about AI literacy. And and you know what? I think I want to establish right now at the top of the conversation that, and that's what I had wrote down, is that when you talk about AI literacy, I think that AI literacy, media literacy, and technological literacy are all intertwined. So when I'm thinking about AI literacy, we need to be just as literate about technology, and also like media literacy is all a part of that same thing, especially, thank you, hi, especially because now so much of the media is intertwined with technology and with AI, so you
Yeah.
can't really talk about one without the other. um and I all of the things you said, all of the I guess the things to know about AI, I think that we'll get more into them as the conversation goes. So I don't want to get stuck here, but I did want to make sure that we make it really clear early on that as
Please
I'm
do.
going to be talking, I'm talking about AI, media, and technological literacy
Okay.
simultaneously.
Okay, great. Okay. So
Yeah.
tell me the difference between um traditional AI and generative AI.
Right. So,
What's the
okay.
difference?
What's the difference? So the really important thing is that AI, which is artificial intelligence, is used for a lot of different things and have been used for a very long time. So when most of the time when we're talking about AI from a consumer standpoint and from the standpoint of like your average everyday people, not doctors, not scientists, not researchers, we're talking about generative AI, which is AI that generates ideas, generates art, generates writing. And generative AI is different from AI that tends to be used in like, you know, machines at hospitals, for example, because machines at hospitals also use artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's certain like professional grade programs that companies will buy. Even in the film industry, there's one called Largo, which they just recently became available to like non-studios, but film studios for a long time have used artificial intelligence to measure audience to be able to predict how audiences will respond to films before they finance them using
Okay.
data from previous films. So, and
Okay.
they've been using this technology for decades. So AI itself, or artificial intelligence itself, is such a large it's such a large topic, and that goes back to technological literacy, because it's important to not to know how technology is impacting you and what different technology means. But generative AI is AI that is meant to generate ideas. So that's what people
Yeah.
use for a therapist, for a friend, when they're writing things, when they're creating AI music, creating AI artwork. All of that is generative. These AI flyers that are everywhere that all
Oh
look the
my goodness.
same.
I'm so sick of these AI flight. They all look the same.
They all
I'm
look the
telling
same.
you.
I don't know what you're selling.
I'm
I can't
sick
tell
of
if it's a
them.
party. If
Oh
I
my
don't know what
God. Let's
I don't
get
know what the flyer is about. Are you selling a product? Are you inviting me
what are
somewhere?
you
Is it a funeral? I don't know what's going on.
all look the
They
same.
all look exactly the same. But all of that is generative AI, and it just
Okay.
means to generate.
And I think generative AI is the form of AI that I believe, well, actually that I know, is
Mm-hmm.
harmful to students. It's harmful to
Yes.
anybody who's learning. It's harmful to preschoolers, elementary school, middle school, high school, and those who are fresh out of high school and college. It is
Yeah.
harmful that they. Mm,
It's
what do you think
interesting
about that?
because, well, it's I don't have any thoughts about it because it's a fact. So it is a fact. But it's what's interesting about generative AI being harmful is that it's also just as harmful to the boomer generation, because boomers
Mm,
are the leading users of generative AI.
mhm,
Um, and so for young people, a big issue. So I for a little bit I was like staunchly anti AI, would not touch it, was like very like don't touch it, don't use it. And then
mhm,
after having several conversations, I started to realize that everybody I knew was using it. And
mhm.
so if I wanted to engage with them more meaningfully, I was going to have to Especially because they're also like all AI is not created equally. Some of
Yeah.
these company and like the leaders of these companies, especially some of the more popular ones, are like really just horrible people, horrible humans, and
Mhm.
are using
Mhm.
the money, like are using the riches of their AI companies to really like to just see. I can't think of the word I want to use. I have a couple different D words, but to that they're making society worse.
They are.
So I also wanted to, and I was like, okay, well, if you're using this, I couldn't recommend anything else because I wasn't using it. So I started to test some different AI chat bots and models, and I was looking for other options besides some of the most popular ones, just so that, and also too, I wanted to know what I was criticizing. And so one of the first things that I recognized, and I will put the same prompt into like different chat bots. And one of the things that I recognized early on is like you can, if you do a back and forth with your AI model, after this, fourth or fifth back and forth in a conversation, AI can start to become incorrect. And it'll be incorrect about something that it was correct about earlier in the conversation. The
It
conversation.
makes things up. And the
It
thing that
makes
the
things up.
harmful thing about that is if you don't know what you're studying, you don't
Exactly.
know the subject,
Exactly.
then you won't even know it's
You
incorrect.
want,
And I think
and
I
so then
mentioned
you have two
earlier,
things.
yeah,
You have two things. You have young people who haven't learned enough to
yeah,
even be able to fact check or to be able to confirm what AI. So you don't, if you haven't formed enough knowledge to even be able to check AI and to double
hmm,
check and to make sure that this is accurate, then you don't even know that it's incorrect. You don't even know what is being wrong. And on the other side of it, for older people, and this is like I'm a millennial, this is Gen X, this is Boomer. Because we have this idea that AI is smarter than us, then we're not checking its validity. And
hmm,
that's, you have to, because AI is not smarter than any of us, actually. That's probably the
right.
biggest fallacy about AI. Everybody should know that you are much smarter than AI. You have to check it.
You have to
So there
check
was a
it.
there was an anecdote. There's a rapper from New York. His name is Big Pun. He's a rapper in the 90s. He passed away in the early 2000s. And so, and this is just to go like, this is kind of an example of how incorrect AI can be. And if you
Hmm.
don't know, sometimes it's obscure information, you'll see something that AI gives you as a response and just go with it. And so, um, someone had asked AI a question about Big Pun and his partner. Now he has a
Hmm.
wife, and her name is Lois. Is it Lois or Louise? Lois. Liza, sorry, Liza Rios. He has a wife named Liza, or a widow named Liza, and one of his he was in a rap like squad, and one of the people in the group was a rapper named Cuban Link. So he would have been
Hmm.
his musical partner. AI said that Big Pun was married to Cuban Link, that was his partner.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you were not, and Big Pun, he has a song that got really big, but if you're not a person of a certain age with a certain interest in music, you won't know Big Pun and who his partner was. You won't know who Cuban Link is at all. So you would
Right.
read that if you didn't have this obscure information about Big Pun's rap partners, you wouldn't know that his wife wasn't named Cuban Link.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And so
That means
that's the
that
kind
we
of
can.
thing that so much of it can slip by you
Hmm.
because you don't even know what is incorrect about, because it's very innocuous to say Big
Right,
Pun's partner was Cuban Link, they married in such and such year. Because what people don't realize is that when AI searches the internet for you, it cannot determine what's a good source and what's a bad source.
right.
And it also can't determine nuance. So if
Hmm.
Cuban Link is referred to as Big Pun's partner in enough places, then AI will favor that information over mentions of his wife because it doesn't know nuance. It doesn't know that
Right,
when this person was writing partner, they didn't mean romantic partner.
right,
And it can't tell because it's not a human.
right.
You know what I mean? Because it's
So,
just reading sources.
so everybody, AI can be wrong
It's
on
not
a
smarter
number
than
of
you.
occasions. It's not
It is
smarter than you,
frequently
and
incorrect.
it's
It
funny
always
because we think that AI is smarter than us,
is
and
not.
we want to use it to make us look more smart.
And it
But in
doesn't,
some cases, it makes us look the exact opposite.
because it's not smarter than you.
It's
That was,
not
I think, the
common
biggest
enough.
surprise that I had going
Mm-hmm.
into it, because again, I had a lot of opinions on AI without having used it myself. And
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what? I can't have these conversations in good faith and not have experience with the programs. And I got on
Right.
these things and I was just shocked at how I was shocked at how incorrect it can be. And I was also shocked at how the quality of its answers can degrade after,
Mm-hmm.
not to me, what doesn't seem like a long period of time. And that's because
Yeah.
I'm a human. So it takes me a lot longer to get tired. But you know how
Right.
when you get tired, you might be like, oh, I'm kind of mixing up this and that. AI does
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
with like 4 requests of deep research before you have to refresh and start a new chat.
And
You know what
I'm
I
I'm
mean?
laughing. I'm laughing because we don't know this. Because I was
No.
one when AI first began and students began to use it, and my students do not know. I teach freshman and sophomore students. They do not know that on the very first day that they either walk into my classroom or join my Zoom room, I'm having them respond in the chat and write things down and upload this to the learning management system. They're writing so that I can hear their voice in their writing.
Mm.
I understand what their writing skills are, what their thought processes are, and I begin to do that on day one. So by week 4, when they submit an essay to me, I can
Right.
immediately tell you didn't write this,
You didn't
sweetheart.
write this. Yeah. No,
You did not write
I
this.
and I think one of the craziest things is 'cause I'm on Twitter a lot. Twitter is my chosen social media platform, the one that chose me, really. And I think this is, I
Okay.
like to read. It's just like an endless conversation of like words. But
Hmm.
sometimes you see people are now using AI to write social media posts, and you
Which
can
is
always
crazy.
tell because general AI. Now some people have gotten really clever and they train AI to write in their voice,
Hmm.
but again, you have to know that you want to do that. And I
Hmm.
think that's a whole other discussion. If you're a writer and you're using AI and training it to write in your voice, that's a whole different, maybe for a later part of this conversation. I know we got to move on to other stuff, but in
Yeah.
general, I think and I don't know if we got here yet or if I'm tying this back to something you already said, but when I see people using AI to do really simple things like write a social media post, write a message for a birthday card, like very easy
Hmm.
things that 4 years ago you could just write messages and birthday cards.
Yeah. Come on, and then you give it your personal touch.
You know what I mean?
Now we're
Now,
using
yeah,
AI
for
for it.
literally what in 2022, if you were writing a birthday card to someone, you just said you thought and you wrote a message to them. Now people feel like
Exactly.
they can't do these really. So I think it also deteriorates our confidence,
Hmm.
and it deteriorates our ability to complete really simple things.
And it's very easy to fall into it because I recently, very recently, a family member has a birthday on July 17th. So I was sending him a birthday card, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get it in the mail really quick. I didn't want to think
Mm-hmm.
about it. I wanted to send the card because I was leaving, and I didn't want to be late
I didn't know
for my
this.
appointment. And so at first I because I was trying to be quick, I put into Chat GPT my question: how to send? Uh, uh, give me the words for comforting uh, and a young man in a situation on his birthday, and it gave me lots of examples. And as I was about to select one of the 6 or 7 examples, I'm like, you know what? Uh-uh. I
Don't
need
do
to
this.
have him feel. I know, but
It's
I
so funny because
started
I
to.
had no idea that you did that. I
But I
just,
didn't.
when I use
I
it as an
put the
example,
prompt
I
in,
didn't know
but
that
I
this
did
was
actually
happening.
write it on my card.
But
But
it's
I
funny that I
started
use
to.
it as an example. I did
It
not know
is.
you had just tried to do
It
that.
it
I
just a,
but a lot of people
that
do it. That's
was
why I
that
brought it up.
yesterday or day before. It
Yes, yesterday.
it is very tempting to give
Yeah, you
our
know what?
thinking away.
So this goes back to when I said that technology, like technological literacy and media literacy are all intertwined with AI literacy, because that very thing that you just said, what'd you say? Say it again.
I
It
was
takes away our
it takes away my thinking, and he can't feel me. He
so
can't
okay, so
feel
what I was gonna say is that technology. the way that technology has become a part of our lives changes who we are, and it changes so many of our habits in very innocuous ways that we don't realize. So from the things about AI where people don't feel confident writing emails, like you used to write emails, the same
You
person who's using
you
AI to write to draft your emails 4 years ago, you were drafting emails probably
and the
all
more
day every
emails
day.
you wrote, the better you got at it.
Like you've been writing emails for a long time, and now
Yeah.
you can't write an email without AI. But
Yeah.
another thing is that when people don't realize, even just like scrolling through movie apps, think about
Mhm.
this. If you go to the movie theater, so let's, okay, the average person, you're going to get on Netflix and you're going to scroll on Netflix, and you might spend, people do it all, you spend 45 minutes scrolling through Netflix,
That's
right?
why I stay off
Have
of
you ever
Netflix.
gone to the movie theater and walked around the lobby for 45 minutes being like,
No,
what should I watch? What should I
you
watch?
pick
What
your
should I watch?
movie, you pick your movie, and you go to that movie.
And even if
That's
you're
why I
like, I'm
stay
not
off of
sure, you
Netflix.
just take a connect, you make a decision. And so
Just
one
make a
thing that I've
decision.
noticed is that it erodes our confidence in making decisions. And
Yep,
that does become very dangerous. And
very
so what I've
dangerous.
been trying to advise people now is like when you're on a movie app, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, whatever, think of it like you're in a theater lobby. Give
Mhm.
yourself whatever time you would give yourself at the movie theaters, and either
Mhm.
pick something or close it.
Yeah.
Those are your two options. Pick
Yeah.
something or close it. And same with
Mhm.
television. You used to put on the television, you would turn to a channel. If the show
Watch
grabbed
what's
you,
there.
you kept watching
Mhm.
it. If it didn't, you turned the channel.
Mhm.
Pick a show. Watch a couple minutes. If it grabs you, keep going. If it doesn't, take it off or turn it off and go back
Mhm.
into the menu of things and just pick something
Mhm.
else. We
Yeah.
cannot allow, and this is what we allow. And allow is really important because when you spend this time um in the technology and allowing technology to capture you, to trap you, and to deteriorate your decision making ability, think about all of the rippling effects of that.
Yeah.
Think about how far, and also too, then think about being 8, think about being 11,
Mhm.
and you don't know how to make decisions. How can someone turn 19 and make good decisions when they never even learned how to make decisions by 11?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
It's definitely a problem,
Yeah, it's
we
a
and
slippery
I
slope.
I've been in several conversations where people would talk about a young person and say, "I just don't understand how they're thinking,"
That's why
and that's
and
why.
that's why, and that because another part of it is the internet became, like, most households, even in the year 2000, did not have the internet. It
Mhm.
wasn't common in households until maybe 2005, 2006, like in
Yeah.
households.
Yeah.
And on cell phones, you didn't really have internet usage like that until the iPhone era and
Right.
after. Because people that had Blackberries had internet, but that was like a very uncommon phone for the average person to have.
Right.
So prior to all of this, wait, what was I? See, because I'm human, I lost my place. What was I saying?
You were talking about not um, the use of technology and scrolling through movie apps. It diminishes our ability to make choices
Right.
faster. Were you
Okay.
going somewhere else with that?
I lost my thread. But the good thing is
Okay.
because I'm not AI, I'm not gonna keep going.
Okay. Well, I
AI
want to
loses the thread and just hallucinates the rest of the answer.
you stop creating crazy stuff.
Yes. Full on hallucination.
What I have done since I noticed that, and I started studying brain based education. As a college
Mm,
instructor, we have to always study something. My topic right now is brain based education. So, in studying that, I discovered that when handwriting notes, it is better than typing the notes on the keyboard because it forces you to slow down. It
mm-hmm.
forces you to make a decision about what you're going to write. It forces you to have to paraphrase what you hear as opposed to trying to type fast and type word for word. And when
Right,
you
right,
are
right.
taking notes, you recall, your brain recalls the actual words that you wrote and where you wrote it on your page. So when you're taking a
Mm.
test or something, you're better able to remember it because you know where you wrote it, when you wrote it, how you wrote it. And cursive, when you're writing those notes in cursive, it connects the letters, and all of those things help you to remember. Um,
Mm.
your hand moves slower than your typing, and your
Right,
hand
right.
moves slower than the speech of the lecture that you're watching, but you can actively think about whatever you're listening to, and you can summarize it better. Because
Yeah.
when you're taking notes, you don't want to write every single word that a lecturer says. You want to be able to identify what's important and summarize that information. And that's called active thinking.
Yeah.
And the process of active thinking is embedded in taking notes with a pen and paper. So what I
Yeah.
did in 2000, when everybody started using computers, and the use of technology in the classroom, it was a popular thing. Well, I bought into that. So recently,
Mm.
I'm buying out of it. I
Mm.
have bought out of it. So I explain to my students and show them a video of why taking notes is better than trying to type your notes on a computer. Literally, when
Mm.
you're taking notes on a computer, the part of your brain that connects to learning, it kind of, it gives a little spark here and there. But um, when you're taking notes with pen and paper, I mean,
Mm.
your brain just lights up because it's
Yeah.
making connections. It's like, okay, we're about to learn something that does not happen when you're typing your notes. So when I
Yeah.
explained that to my students and I showed them the research, I gave them something to read and I gave them a video. We watched it in class. We talked about it. We read it in class. We talked about it. I have no problem. They bought into the
Mm.
concept of taking notes. And so what I do is, for those who are still reluctant, uh, take your notes and screenshot them, upload them into our learning management system. Excuse me, and I give them points for participation.
Mm.
And so what I'm documenting the difference. I just started doing that during spring semester. I'm
Oh,
doing it this
interesting.
summer. So I'm documenting the difference in their learning. I can say last summer in a 7-week course, we were only able to write one essay, one good college 5-paragraph essay with a 3-part parallel thesis statement, your introduction, your body, your conclusion, and citing sources. After learning about all of those things, because my students don't come to me knowing that they should. When I went
Right.
to college after I have high school, in our senior year, we had to write a 15-page paper with citations. I remember
Right.
that. But these
Yeah.
students don't know how to write a basic 5-paragraph essay, and less known with citations. So
Right.
last summer,
Right.
we only got to one. This summer, guess what? We're starting our third one tomorrow.
Really?
Yes, it's just that small switch of teaching them how the how handwriting, taking notes the old-fashioned way with a notebook and a pen, is
Yep.
it increases the learning. Now this is anecdotal because I didn't, I'm not researching it officially, but anecdotally, I mean, it's made a big difference,
Mm.
a
And
huge
when did the summer
difference.
semester start?
If the summer semester started maybe the second week in June, first or second
Okay,
week
so
in
you're looking at
June.
maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I was asking because
it's 7 weeks total.
one thing that happens a lot is people get very doom and gloom about the future and
Yeah.
technology, and which to that I don't subscribe to doomerism myself, and I think it's important
Mhm.
not to, because once we all subscribe to doomerism, then at
Mhm.
that point the tech companies win.
They
So I've seen
win.
people be like, "Oh, we're cooked. We're not going to be able to read again." And it's like, but look at
No,
this
we can
one
turn this
thing look how fast this classroom of people were able to progress
very
versus the group
quickly
last summer. And it was just
just
that
by
one, like
taking notes. That's
that was the
one
one thing you did
thing.
differently, was activating their brains. So I think it's really
Hmm.
important to like resist doomerism, because there are so many small things that make a big
Hmm.
difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I remembered. So it was two things I wanted to add on to that, what you were saying about handwritten notes, and just to
Hmm.
confirm that it's the same for me. I'm a writer. I write
Hmm.
screenplays. Um, and like, even when I keep a notebook in my purse, a little small notebook, so I can jot things down. But just the nature of life. Occasionally, I have to make notes in my phone on things. But whenever I'm writing something, I have to take handwritten notes. I have to make
Hmm.
notes. I make notes in a notebook. I make notes on the script, and I have to do it by hand, because it
Hmm.
helps me get to know the characters. When I try to
Yeah.
do it on a computer, I forget story details. I forget character
Mm-hmm.
details. The stuff that I've written in a notebook, I remember those details 20 years after I had the idea.
It's
But the notes
connecting
that
in
I've
your
made on the
brain.
computer, I'll be like, what was I thinking? And like really small
Yeah.
things, I don't remember hardly anything about the story. So
Hmm.
just to add
Yeah.
on to what you said to that, and I also remembered what I was saying about just the journey of the internet, is that
Hmm.
to the adults who often feel like, I don't know what this generation is thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. This is that. I think it's important for all of us, the adults and the children, to give each other grace, because we're really dealing with the first generations of people who have been raised with social media. So parents,
Yeah.
as it was as social media was developing, parents, educators, community people
We
didn't necessarily know
we
how to
didn't know.
respond, because you had never
Did not know.
experienced it before,
We
and
were
you
actually
didn't
very
know.
excited.
Very excited, and you
Very
didn't know
excited.
what impacts it would have, because
Didn't
there were
know.
never any people to
Right.
experience that. So
Yeah.
because when I talk to young people, I'm realizing they think about things in a very different way than I ever have, because they're
Hmm.
considering things I've never considered. I've
Hmm.
never, because I grew up pre social media, like my
Hmm.
adolescence and all that, so I don't have the same kind of like fear of public shame that a lot
Hmm.
of people in their 20s and teens. Every small thing can be ridiculed on the internet, and they grew up with that. No one else before
Yeah.
Gen Z
Has ever
grew
grown up
up,
with
and like
that.
younger
Yeah.
millennials, nobody grew up with social media. It was growing as they
Right.
grew. So they're so young
Right.
millennials, Gen Z, they're the first people that all of us have ever encountered. They're like aliens in a positive way, but they're the
Yeah.
first, like in the sense that like no one has ever existed like them. So I think we have to give ourselves
Yeah.
a lot more grace in our lack of understanding, but also give some grace to them, in that they also are growing up in a world that like no one can help them navigate, and nobody was helping them navigate it
Yeah.
as it was developing, because we didn't know. So I just think that's important. Whereas
It is important.
younger, like it's important, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, the younger
Hmm.
generations, some of the mistakes that were
Hmm.
made with younger
Hmm.
millennials and Gen Z are being corrected in Gen Beta. But Gen Beta are babies. Gen Alpha are,
Yeah.
17
Yeah.
and 9 years old. So
Yeah.
like we now know, oh, my kids shouldn't just be on social media. We didn't know that
Yeah.
before, because it seemed fun to us. And I don't have kids. I'm
Yeah.
just saying my kids. I think all kids
Yeah.
as my kids. I'm a big community member person.
And it's
So
a good
those are the two things I
babysitter.
wanted to just say.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we get back, remind me to talk about
We
when I
gotta.
went to church last week. Commercial break.
Have you seen
Okay.
all the solar farms popping up everywhere? You know, the big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You know you're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you, because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
Okay, and we're back. So I
We're
wanna
back.
I
We have
wanna
20
tell this
minutes
quick
left.
story. I want to tell this
We
quick
only have
story
20
about when I
minutes.
went to church last week, and then we're gonna get to the privacy stuff. Last week I was at
Hmm.
church and I noticed that there were four young people sitting around me, three rows up to the side behind me. And
Mm.
their parents were very comfortable in letting them have their iPad, and they were playing games on their iPad. And they had headphones in, playing the game during the entire church service. And that wasn't the first time that happened. And if we have time, we can talk about the impact of that. But let's switch to privacy. Let's start with
Okay.
photos. Why should we be careful about uploading our photos to AI?
So, um, this came up because, like, I have a lot of people in my life who include their photos in these different, like, see what you would look like in the 1950s, and it always trips me out when people who were alive in the 1950s do it, because it's like, you don't need to imagine that you were there.
You have a picture,
But
hopefully.
you know what I mean? And also
Yeah.
too, just imagine it. But the thing about uploading your photo to any AI system is that once you have put your photograph into an AI system, that AI system now has rights to your likeness. You don't have any rights to your likeness. So they can use your likeness to create other AI photographs of people. It goes into the training data, and your whole face is now a part of their library. And you don't, like,
Hmm.
I think it's Denmark has a law, and it's not, it's a couple, some European countries have some laws for citizens, but the United States doesn't have any privacy laws, and there are no plans on making any. There's zero plans on enacting privacy laws to protect our likeness when you're participating in these fun challenges. And it has taken to another, so I don't know if people know stuff that's called a deep fake. Deep fake videos is is AI technology that creates what it's called a deep fake because it looks like 100% real. So someone could make a deep fake video of me committing heinous crimes, could make a deep fake video of me, just in some ways that would be like damaging and humiliating. And if I
Hmm.
have put my photograph into any AI systems, even if someone doesn't use it for like nefarious purposes, um,
Hmm.
they can still, because there have been like recently popping up, because first of all, we live in a very racist country, we live in a racist world, so you have a lot of
We
people
do.
who have a good time creating videos of black people just committing crimes, and then they post it on social
Yeah.
media, and then they start conversations about black
Yeah.
people's criminality, and they're made up,
Yeah.
they're videos that they made up on a computer. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And even if they do a generic black character, a generic black woman, age, 52. If you as a black person are
Hmm.
between the ages of 50 and 65 and you've uploaded your photo into an AI, when they want to make these criminal videos, your image is what's being pulled down to create the characters. So that's one
Yeah.
really big thing, is that we don't have any rights to our likenesses when you use the systems. And then also
Yeah.
too, when you use those, you are also using someone's likeness that they did not give permission for you to use. So it
Yeah.
seems, which is why when you watch, if you watch those like AI Bible stories videos on YouTube, and all the
Yeah.
actors look like Denzel Washington and Michael B. Davis, I mean Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
um, and Ossie Davis, and also no, you can't. So the laws about suing are a little unclear right now, only because the United States
Has
doesn't
no laws.
have
We have no
any,
law.
like, we don't have any regulation about
No
AI.
regulation.
You could
Hmm.
potentially sue for maybe like defamation of character, depending on what it is, and you
Hmm.
could kind of like get to a legal fight in a roundabout way, but not for
Hmm.
using, but it would be about defamation of character, not just your likeness being used.
Right.
So I mean, if so, one of my closest friends, I was like fussing at her about it, and she's like, I put my photo in so many AI systems at this point that it's just like, she was like, it's too late for me, and maybe
Oh.
it is, but I feel like with her, it's never too late. Stop putting your photos in these AI systems, and then I'm gonna have my mom share a link, but. A couple days ago, Meta, who is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, Meta had introduced a feature called Meta AI, and it would allow any user on Instagram to use any photo that's been uploaded to Instagram on a public account, and you could use that photo to create new images. So
Mm-hmm.
the like the woman who asked the question, if you have a public Instagram account, not a private account, and it's on Instagram with that Meta AI, I would never do it, but I could go on Meta AI and I could pull your photo and put it into Meta AI, and I could make an image of you doing God knows what, positive or negative. It doesn't matter. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a way to opt your profile out of it, but as a lot of these companies do, our profiles were automatically opted in to being to having
Mm-hmm.
permission given to use Meta AI.
Gotcha.
So you would have to go to your settings and manually turn it off, but they had turned it on for you. Now the
Ah.
backlash was humongous, and so
Mm-hmm.
they removed it just 3 days after they announced it because people like really freaked out.
And
But
that
a
just
lot of
happened a
people,
few days ago, right?
it happened this week. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
share an article. I don't know if you can share it with.
I'll
Um,
put it. I'll put it in the comments of the video.
okay, yeah. There's a you can
Mm-hmm.
just look up Meta AI
Okay.
Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be several news articles about it. Yeah, with the deep fake, unless because and people have been arrested. People have been arrested, people have been harmed, and that's also why I think it's real. I think that when it comes to people's likeness, I have a zero tolerance, like, because it quickly delves into harmful things.
Yeah.
So I'm very, and my mom will tell you, I'm very strict. I don't want to see anybody's image being altered by AI. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't like it, and it's only because I know I've seen, and I know that it's a very
Yeah.
slippery slope. And the same, whether because sometimes people like to like put clothes on women who are like
Mm-hmm.
dressed lasciviously, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had to point out that the same technology that dresses women also undresses women.
Undresses
So
them.
when
Yeah.
you're like, oh well, it's this and that, it's like, no, they use those same, and they do it already. There was a
Yeah.
huge thing with Grok, which is the Twitter image generator. And when it was first introduced, when I tell you that so many girls under the age of 16 were having
Mm.
images of them,
Wow.
pornographic images of them being made. Angel Reese, who's a basketball player, when she was first coming out of college, they were making AI porn of her, and it looked real. It looked like real
Wow.
pornographic videos. And she's a
Yeah.
public figure, so it was like had become well known. But if you're not a
Mm-hmm.
public figure and a lot of people aren't recognizing your face, there could be AI porn of any of us right now, and we'll have no idea
And we have no idea.
because it won't hit your feed. So you have to be
Yeah.
really, really, really careful. And unfortunately, this is one of those things that the people who make it should be the ones that we are censoring because it's just a
Right.
wrong thing to do.
Right.
And because there's no privacy laws, I just caution everybody, no matter how fun it seems, you're going to have to start using your imagination. Do not put or or get a friend who knows how to use Photoshop and go back the old school way, but please do
Yeah.
not include your photographs in any AI systems. And you constantly
Okay.
just check, like, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just try to like stay abreast of whatever new developments they have, because the Meta AI
Yeah.
on Instagram was like one that most people would not have caught without the
Mm-hmm.
story going viral.
Somebody asks, is there a way to determine whether news is fake or not?
Um, to be honest, there is a way, and the way is just through research. So now, one thing that I do, because you'll see it a lot on Facebook, on Twitter, and honestly, even on like the video apps like Instagram and TikTok, where there'll be
Mm-hmm.
news stories or someone can type breaking and say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They can
Yeah.
say Eliyannah said, and they'll have quotations, and it's some quote that I said, and then people start responding to that. And so
Mhm.
it takes a little bit of work on our part, but whenever I see something, whenever someone shares something with me, I always just go look it up, because if it's a real story, then it will have been reported by multiple
Mhm.
news outlets. And
Mhm.
so
And
I look up
and I must
quotes.
say, she definitely does that because I've shared some things with her, and I was either upset or excited, and she bounced back with, "Oh, well, this is fake," and bust my bubble. But it
But I think it's important. It's important because
is
so much
important.
gets shared as
I
news. And if
agree.
you don't check it, you'll be thinking all kind of stuff is happening, and it's
I
not
agree.
happening, good or
Yeah,
bad. So I
I
always just,
definitely agree.
and it's and the thing is, if you don't feel like doing the research, then just don't share it and don't take it into your, because another thing is, like, just don't take it in as fact. There's been
Yeah.
things where I saw and I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not. I'm not going to share it, and I don't care enough to look it up, but I'm not going to hold
Mhm.
this as a truth yet because I haven't been able to confirm it. So in terms
Mhm.
of like fake news and things like that, it does exist because with the internet, everybody is a reporter. Everybody has an opinion that can be shared at all times. And some
Yeah.
people present their opinions as fact.
Yeah.
I've seen so many like tweets where it's like breaking, and then they have all this stuff. And then I'll go to
Breaking
the
news.
and I always click on that because the link, if it's a real story, there will be a link to an article in the second tweet. That is just
Right.
very common. If
Right.
there's no link that I can read to an actual like a real newspaper, not someone's blog, but an
Mhm.
actual like newspaper,
Mhm.
then I don't take it's not real. If you
Okay.
can't confirm it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay, our time is
That's the
almost
way.
up, but this episode might go over a little bit because I want to touch on just a couple of more really important things.
I know.
One,
I want you to ask me about AI and art.
book covers. Book covers. Start with that.
Right. So
Book
for all of
covers.
my independent authors who are out there, trying to make your book dreams come true, when you use AI book covers, your book cover is cannot be copywritten. Your book, if you're using AI to generate text, your book cannot be copywritten. And
Yeah.
if it can't be copy, that means that you literally cannot file a copyright on your
Right.
book.
Right.
So you could have the book, you've written all the text, but if you use AI for the cover, then that, because the book and the cover are a body of work, then
Mhm.
that book that has that AI cover on it, there's no legal protection.
Mhm.
So just as Pat, and that's been a AI and copyright has been, like, outside of how the privacy issues that arise from it, copyright
Mhm.
issues have been a very big conversation in the world of like technology and AI and law.
Right.
And
Right.
there's more protection about copyrights than there is about like citizens privacy, but
Mhm.
most of the copyright stuff we're not aware of. So I'm also going to have her share um this link. This is just a general guide to AI and copyright um as it stands right now in summer of 2026. But just in March, the Supreme Court declined, or they denied, there was an artificial intelligence authorship claim for artwork. So this man had created a AI artwork. He listed the AI as the maker, the author of the artwork, and he himself was a
Mhm.
co-creator. And then it
Mhm.
went all the way to the Supreme Court this past March. The Supreme Court denied the hearing. And so that has now set a precedent that, okay, so I just put both of those links in the chat, or in the to my
Okay. Thank
mom.
you.
That has
And
now set a precedent that Supreme
mhm.
Court, it was sort of a non-decision because they declined to hear the case. But that has
Mhm.
become the precedent. So if you're using books with AI covers, I would really, really, really encourage you to find an artist, find an illustrator. Again, like, it doesn't have to be, you'll do a lot better protecting your book with a not great cover
Mhm.
than with an AI
Mhm.
cover, because you won't have any protection.
And there are types of AI that and people using it to write books.
Yeah.
I mean that you, but you're not writing. If you're using AI to write your book, it's not your book. You didn't write it.
You didn't write it. So
You didn't write it.
this goes back to all of the things about literacy being connected. And also too, it goes back to us always needing to be aware of the ways in which technology and social media impact us. So there's
Mhm.
two things. Social media has has created a very like heightened need of instant
Mhm.
gratification for many people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So you want to be a well-known writer immediately, which means
Yes.
that you want your book to be polished. And because you want your first time out the gate, maybe you've been wanting to write for a long time, and it
Mhm.
unfortunately the trap that it really gets are people from maybe neighborhoods like mine who maybe didn't go to college for like English and don't have
Mhm.
these degrees in English literature, but you want to write. So the
Yeah.
trap is that writing to be good at writing, it takes time. It
You
is
got
it
to write.
is
It's
you
like
have to
skating or
write
riding
a
a bike.
lot, and that means that you have to do
You
some
got to
bad
write.
writing.
Mhm.
But
And it's
because
like
we
skating
need
or
instant
riding a bike.
gratification, but because we
Mhm.
need instant gratification now
Yep.
in ways that we never have in the past,
Yep.
no, your brain almost probably can't take the pain of bad
Yep.
writing,
Yeah.
especially because I'm gonna look at yours in a second, Pam, but especially because you're writing to share your work. And so if
Mhm.
you go to school for writing, that writing is being shared with the teacher, with your classmates
Yeah.
over some years before you
Mhm.
have developed the muscle enough to write professionally. The
Exactly.
trap of AI tells you that you can write a
Mhm.
really good book right now.
Right
And
now.
two things. Number one, it's going to use a lot of grammar and vocabulary that you yourself may not even be
Don't use.
knowledgeable of. So you can't.
Mm-mm.
So again, it goes back to
Mhm.
if the grammar, you don't know if the grammar is correct. You don't know if everything, and you're probably not proofreading the entire book. You can't
You're
edit the
not.
book well enough because you didn't write the prose, so you don't even know
Yeah.
how accurate
Yeah.
AI is expressing your ideas.
Yeah.
So I would caution against that, and I would also to I think that like embrace taking the time to learn to be good at something. It's okay to not be great in the beginning. Even if you
Mhm.
you might be 72 years old and you want to be a writer, just write some bad
Just
stuff. It's
write. Just
okay.
start writing.
You might not
And
be good
write
at
in a
writing till you're
notebook. But
75.
write in a notebook, guys. Old
Right,
fashioned pen
just
and paper.
write a little bit every day. It is okay to not be great at it. So it's the
Yeah.
instant gratification of it all and the ease that we can do. So the question says, with AI assistants and traditional students, would that apply to resume writing too? So the weird thing about resume writing right now is it's almost like it's a big game of chicken, because the most companies are using AI readers to go through applications and resumes. So the AI that's reading the resumes and applications is
Will
looking
flag
for
you.
certain keywords. But hold on, they're looking for like certain keywords, certain phrases that get you
Mhm.
through to the humans to look at it, which means, and
Mhm.
like most of us don't know what they're looking for, like like all of the keywords and things like that. An AI written
Mhm.
resume will know how to write for the AI reader.
Mhm.
However, so, but it really is a game of chicken, because the companies are using AI to parse resumes, but then they also are using AI, and only AI can pass through a resume reader. Only a AI resume can pass through a resume reader with like the most accuracy,
Mhm.
unless you hire a professional resume writer. But the other
Yeah.
thing is, because companies now know that people have figured out that the companies are using AI, now the companies have an additional AI to
Wow.
check, is this a resume that was written by
Wow.
AI, because they want to because they don't want to bring someone in for an interview that used
They
AI to write their
they
resume,
want to
even
throw
though
the
they're
resume
using
in the
AI to
garbage.
read the resumes. And so
Yes, they want to
now
throw it in the
users
garbage.
but now
Mhm.
users have responded by using more AI to hide the AI of their resume,
Mhm.
to
Yep.
pass through the AI reader and checker. And it's just this big game of chicken. So in
Yeah.
terms of like resume writing, I think that what I would say is, if you're going to use AI to write your resume, just have a human person check it over. Because even if, so typically what the AI readers are gauging is like how much of it is generated by AI. So if it's like over 50%, they can flag that. Anything that's like over 70% is just automatically, the companies aren't interested. And the AI is going to say, because the AI checker technologies are very sophisticated. So I would just say that if that's what you need to do, because I've used it to help my brother's resume, but then I do a pass of the AI's resume. And I only
Mm-hmm.
do that. I do it with him because now I know that companies are using AI to check resumes, and they're looking for
Mm-hmm.
certain ways that like you respond to the job prompt.
Yeah.
So you can use it. And if you want to actually make it effective, then I would just go through with the human touch, with the human eyes, with the human edit. And hopefully you have someone, and like there are people that do resume writing on Fiverr. You can find a resume writer for pretty inexpensive. And you can have them edit your AI resume.
Hopefully they won't be using AI to write your resume.
Hopefully they will not. But
Hopefully
professional
they
resume
won't.
writers,
Yeah.
and if you go on a website like Fiverr, then you just want to read the reviews. It all goes, to be honest, everything just goes back to research. Reading and
Yeah.
research will always be your friend. You
Okay.
can
So
research people on Fiverr. Okay.
with that, our time is up, but we didn't even talk about AI in art, music, and film. So guess what? That's another episode.
Okay, because
E-
I have a
Either
lot
at
to
the
say
end of
about that.
August or September,
I
sometime
have a
in
lot
the
to say
future.
about
So
AI
that's going to
within
be, I
art,
don't want to
within
start
the
it
arts.
because we won't be able to be thorough enough. And
Yeah.
with
So
that, I want to be thorough.
let's come back, because
So,
that's really important. It's
yeah.
very important.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Well,
so
we knew
much.
this was gonna go long.
I knew it. And
Okay.
the hour went fast.
It did.
All right. Next conversation sometime in the end of August or early September. We'll get back to you
Okay.
all. Thank you all for
Bye. Thank y'all
listening.
for
Thank you
your
for showing up.
comments.
And thank you, Eliana. When we have these conversations, just us, it was just something that I knew that I needed to have you share on this podcast.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you
Yeah,
next
thanks for
time.
asking
Well,
me.
I'll
Okay.
see you in a few minutes.
I'll see you in a few minutes.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jared. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.